guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Football Hideout. Now today we've got a special for you as we're just reviewing one game. This game is Chelsea vs Manchester United that took place on Monday night in the FA Cup. Now, being Chelsea fans, you must all be disappointed for more than one reason. I'm going to start with you, Jhangir. What's your thoughts on that performance yesterday?
Honestly, I don't know where to start. Where can I start? Sorry, players, board, Abramovich, fans. I'm going to start with sorry. Now, the first thing I want to say about sorry is Sarri needs to fix up, seriously, because I don't know what he's trying to do in the behind the scenes, on the pitch with his subs. Like, he's lost the plot, I think. Number one, he's too stubborn. He doesn't change his team up. Why are we always seeing Alonso play? Why is Kovacic playing? Why is David Luiz even? I love David Luiz, don't get me wrong, but why is he starting? Like, he makes so many mistakes. He can't defend either. Why not just give Christensen a chance? Christensen made one or two mistakes last game for Barcelona, last season, and he got kicked out of the team just like that. Luiz has been making mistakes for how many years now, and he's not getting kicked out of the team. Even Rudiger, for example, he's so clumsy now. I think we need to put Christensen back in defence, seriously.
So
not only that. Sorry to cut you off, but it's just the passion coming out. But his substitution, what is he doing with them? Like, he just keeps on substituting Kovacic for Barkley, Pedro, Willian. Like, he's just doing the same thing. Why can't he have the plan B? He says, he doesn't want to have a plan B because he wants to perfect plan A. But plan A is clearly, it's just not working. So if it's not working, the best of managers always have a plan B. Why can't he just, say for example, yesterday in the United game, we couldn't go through the middle. Why couldn't we just put on Giroud, play him up top with Higuain, and just get the ball in the box? Because we clearly couldn't pass it through them. United were too solid.
Yeah, I think with United playing in midfield diamond, the midfield diamond means they compact the middle part of the pitch. That means we should have had wingers like Hudson-Odoi running where the space which is out wide, and having a right back that is very, very attacking minded in Zappa Costa. Not having a player who gets a nosebleed every time he passes the halfway line.
Okay, you talk about Zappa Costa, but is Zappa Costa going to really do anything?
I think he's better in the offensive phase.
Then ask me the question. I agree with that, but is he really up to the scratch? Like, he would have given us something different.
And Azpilicueta yesterday was awful.
Zappa Costa came on for about 15-20 minutes. He didn't do anything.
Okay, but the game was done then.
It doesn't matter if the game was done. If he's a sub, he's got to come in and try to make his mark on the team. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, but the game was.
You're saying you'd rather have Zappa Costa come on than Giroud or Hudson-Odoi?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I would have rather started Zappa Costa and Hudson-Odoi, because United were playing with a diamond. They were leaving space out wide, and that way they can run direct runs, make direct runs at Luke Shaw and Pogba, who wasn't tracking back as much. I think Luke Shaw would have struggled had he had someone with pace and power running at him, and so would Pogba, because Pogba's naturally not going to track back. With Zappa Costa, you at least get a bit of offensive play, and even defensively, Azpilicueta, he was at fault for, I'd say, the second goal.
Okay, so Chris, Richie and Jhangir have given a couple reasons. So for this match specifically, are the players or are Sarri to blame for this defeat?
Well, I'd say it's a mixture of both, but the problems lie higher above for the club. Like, we don't have a director of football. You're talking about deadwood players like Drinkwater, Barkley, all these players. Like, that's from recruitment. We don't have a director of football. There's no direction. There's no purpose. There's no one that's going out and actively scouting players. Like, we don't have a recruitment policy. We're not at Liverpool. We don't have anything. We're just directionless. There's nowhere to go.
So you're saying Sarri isn't to blame? It's literally.
No, I'm saying everyone in the club is to blame. The board, players, manager, everyone's to blame.
But Chris, if you was to pinpoint, if you had to put your finger on the main reason why there's almost a crisis going on at Chelsea right now, what would that reason be? So Sarri.
Straight away, the guy can't adapt. Like, he's shown he's tactically inept. He can't adjust the formation, can't change personnel. Like, it's frustrating to watch Alonso start when he's not a left back, he's a left wing back. He needs constant support every single game. David Luiz next to him doesn't help. Rudiger's shaky. Dave is not the player he used to be. Kepa yesterday, I don't know what he's doing. Like, it's frustrating to watch, and as much as Sarri's to blame, the players are as well. Sarri's not on the pitch playing for them as the players. But Sarri needs to be rotating these players. Like, Ampadu should be playing, Hudson-Odoi should be playing.
Exactly. Touching on that, if players like Hudson-Odoi and Ampadu were starting, even Christensen, Emerson, and Sarri was in this position, I'd back him even more.
Yeah, I'll defend him.
But the fact that he's playing Alonso, he's only given 10 minutes to Hudson-Odoi in the past few weeks. and that was against Malmo. Why can't he, what do Pedro and Willian do that Hudson-Odoi can't do?
But do you think maybe Sarri's getting instructions from the higher above to not play Hudson-Odoi?
But why would he be on the bench?
Because Hudson-Odoi played 330 minutes during his transfer saga of Bayern, but as soon as the transfer window closed, he's only played 10
But what's the benefit in that? Why not just let Hudson-Odoi go then? If you're just going to keep him on the bench, why not just let him go to Bayern, let him continue with his career?
So
there's no benefit for us just to doing that.
So are you with Chris in saying Sarri is the main reason to blame for this current crisis?
First of all, I wouldn't call it a crisis, but I get what you're saying though. And Sarri, I think the players need to take the blame as well. Like, I do blame Sarri for picking the same 11, just not changing it up, no plan B. But the players, honestly, like, how can we not just put on a decent performance? Like 6-0 to City, come on, that's the worst defeat we've had since 1998 or something like that. So yeah, I do blame Sarri as well, but the players need to take them.
So Richard, are you with Chris and Jhangir saying Sarri is the main blame for this problem?
100%, because I think you see, he just doesn't adapt. I know this point has been made so many times, but he doesn't adapt. You know, he doesn't change system, he doesn't change formation. You know, Jorginho, I know on the ball he's very good, but in Serie A you got so much time and space to pick out a pass. The Premier League, you'll have at least you'll be blocked out. You know, we were sussed out in about November. Since then, he hasn't adapted or changed the system to accommodate, and that could be a fault of the players. You know, maybe Kante and Kovacic aren't as good, so our whole system revolves around everything through Jorginho. And once you stop in, the two other midfielders are not as good on the ball or not as creative enough to give us another option. You know, so everything that happens with us in terms of our play has to go through Jorginho. Otherwise, we're screwed.
No, touching on that, like, I don't understand why Sarri can't just play two in the holding position, play Jorginho and Kante. Like when I forgot who it was, but a journalist asked him about that, and he said that Jorginho can't play in a two-man midfield. But Chelsea doesn't rely on. We don't just base our game over Jorginho. We got to adapt to the team that we got. If we play Jorginho and Kante holding, Kante can stay back at all times. Jorginho can stay back when we got possession to dictate play. But when we got the ball further on, like in the final third, we have no end product there. So why can't we just let Jorginho push up a little bit and just like find, because his passing ability is good. We've seen it. We've seen it many times this season. But why don't we just push him up further in the pitch where he can actually create stuff? Because we're not creating any chances.
So now we've mentioned this, I want to ask you guys, how long does Sarri have left, and how long does he deserve to have left?
I think he deserves to have the season. Come on, like, you're shaking your head, but come on. Because listen. But have you not been saying for the past year that you want a manager that's like, just keep a manager in and back him? You always just keep saying,
I wanted a manager that plays attacking football and encourages the youth to play. I haven't seen, since November, I haven't seen us play attacking football, and I haven't seen any of the youth.
But this is still the only first. I understand about the youth, I agree with that, but it's only the first.
If he's not going to play the youth now, when our team's in a crisis or in such bad form, when is he going to play them? You know, like if you give him the summer, he's just going to recruit more players, and then obviously the youth players are going to drop further down the pecking order. And like I think, in my opinion, our best combinations in terms of the left-hand side is Hazard, Loftus-Cheek and Emerson.
Yeah.
You know, I think there was a game against Fulham in the start of December. I think Kovacic was playing. Loftus-Cheek came on and changed the whole game. Like, he links up well with Hazard. Like, Kovacic is so simple. Like, simple passes. He literally just gets the ball, runs around in circles and just lays it off. Loftus-Cheek's penetrating one. He's also a presence, you know. Sarri was talking about how he plays Alonso over Emerson because of his height. Well, if you play Loftus-Cheek, you can sort of adapt around that, you know. Loftus-Cheek is probably taller or the same height as Alonso for defending corners, so just place Loftus-Cheek.
Alright, so you mentioned these players, but Richie, I asked you directly, how long does Sarri have left and how long does he deserve? Answer that.
He doesn't deserve much longer. I think he should have gone after Bournemouth. Last season we saw with Antonio Conte when he lost 4-1 and away to Watford and then 3-0 at home to Bournemouth. We said we gave him time because we were still in 4 competitions, because we were competing for the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, and the place for the top 4, and still in the Champions League, even though we had Barcelona. And then look how our season sort of just depleted, you know. Like, okay, we won the FA Cup, but that was a mere consolation and something for the CV for Antonio Conte. It wasn't really much benefit to us. So I think Sarri really should have been gone after Bournemouth, because you saw with Man United, you know, if they kept Jose Mourinho on any longer, then the top 4 would have been. No,
I think that's completely different with United, because United have the squad for a manager just to come in and make an instant impact, but we don't have the players to do that. United, they've got Pogba, Martial, we don't have that.
Yeah.
So can I just ask you this? You're Sarri out. If you're Sarri out, who would you want in now?
probably
there's
probably because
they're not probably, but who would you want?
I would probably want someone like Jean Terry or Jody Morris.
Zidane.
What are they going to do?
No, because yesterday you saw the pure disconnect between the players, the fans, and the manager. You want someone, a Chelsea legend or someone who knows the club, to step in.
So
and
that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yeah, someone to reconnect the fans, because yesterday I've never seen it that bad. Honestly, I think that was yesterday like the worst I've ever seen. And to be honest, we probably
What's you've ever seen?
in terms of in terms of the fan reaction and stuff like that. I've personally never seen a whole fan revolt against the manager like that.
So Jhangir, you're furiously shaking your head. That's all you. What's your solution to this? How long does Sarri have left, and how long does he deserve?
The thing is, he just needs to stop being so stubborn, because I do want him to stay. And if we do get rid of him, who are we going to get? Like you said, John Terry, Jody Morris. But if they come in, will they really make much of a difference? I understand that they're club legends, the players will not play for them, they'll probably give the youth more time. But the thing is, will we actually get top 4? Will we actually win a trophy under them? They're inexperienced. Jody Morris has done very well for the youth team, but he's only been an assistant manager for about half a year for Derby. And John Terry, he's just only recently come in at Villa. So I don't think they got the experience. And if you use the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer example, I think it's just not a right example to use, because United squad, they've got the players there, they got the top quality, they got quality in their attack, even their defence is not the best, but they've still got the, like for example Lindelof, he's stepping up, David De Gea, he's back to his normal, but we just don't have the players like that, so I don't think John Terry or Jody Morris can do anything.
Chris, lastly, how long does Sarri have, and how long does he deserve?
Well, he should have been gone after Man City. Well, when we lost 4-0 to Bournemouth, I was like, alarm bells are ringing now. And then Man City, after that 6-0, I was like, I still can't get over it to this day. And then to lose to Man U at home, like all the top 6 will come to Chelsea and think, yeah, we can get a result here. Like, it can't go on for much longer. He's not going to change the team. Like, he's had every opportunity to change personnel, change tactics. It's not going to happen. So I'd like to see him manage the cup final on Sunday and win it, and then maybe, I don't know. I can't see him lasting until Sunday, to be honest. Like,
Till Sunday.
We've got such a crucial 9 days ahead. You know, we had Man United yesterday. We got Malmo on Thursday, Carabao Cup Sunday, then Wednesday we got Tottenham. I think Wednesday is going to be crazy because there's a bit of a rivalry there with Tottenham.
Stamford Bridge as well.
Stamford Bridge. We saw in the Carabao Cup how tense it can get, at times, and it'll be really, really interesting to see how the game will be panned out and whether the players turn up, because I think they're obliged to turn up. It's Tottenham. Even in the Carabao Cup, we weren't going into that with the best run of form, but for the Carabao Cup, we saw Jorginho have probably his best game in the Chelsea shirt, and the players did step up for that, even though we did just about get through. But I think the first half especially showed that game that we can perform. It's just I think the players now, even Hazard, he looked disinterested yesterday, and I think it all started from him coming into that false 9 role. He was going into a good run of form. He started playing with false 9, and then the whole season just blew up.
So Chris, did you agree with the substitutions yesterday that Sarri made?
it's a liberty. Like the same predictable subs every single game. Kovacic for Barkley, 65 to 70 minutes. William for Pedro, William for whoever. Zappa Costa coming on is basically just a middle finger up at every single Chelsea fan in the stadium. After chanting Hudson-Odoi's name during the match, for him to bring on Zappa Costa when we need to score 2 goals is literally like it's a piss take. You're actually violating the club now. So I can't wait for Sarri to go, to be honest.
It's not only a slap in the face to the fans, it was also a slap in the face to attackers like Hudson-Odoi and Giroud, as Jhangir previously touched on. If you wanted to change the game, you'd bring on Giroud for maybe a midfielder and try to go long or something, but to bring on Zappa Costa with 10 minutes left, it's just abysmal.
Touching that, if regardless of if Sarri stays or goes, I think we need to get rid of half the squad. Because this squad, number one, they're not good enough. Number two, their mindset in the club is just terrible right now. I don't know what's going on. Because the manager comes in, does well for about a few months, maximum a year, they probably win a title like we've done under Conte, then it's just a whole nother ballgame. Just everything changes. Like the players just don't play for the manager anymore. I don't understand what's going on with the players. Because fair enough, you can blame Sarri as well, but the players have definitely got to take a big.
But this is as bad as AVB and Scolari.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we're going to make top 5. We'll probably get 6. So
regardless of if we get 5th or 6th, it's still pretty much the same thing.
But you said about the players. Sarri has actually brought in some good players, like Kepa, Jorginho, Higuain. They're pretty good players. It's just I think the core of Chelsea's is so bad. Like, you got players like David Luiz, who he calls a leader. I don't really see any characteristics of leader like we saw John Terry yesterday. He would have been more of a leader. And even Aspilicueta, he's a captain, but even after defeat, I just hear the same old stuff.
So you guys talk about the Chelsea players. Now let's get on to the future of the Chelsea players. So you want Sarri to stay in the summer, of course. But if Hazard goes, which is looking likely, Hudson-Odoi goes, which is looking likely, what can the board do to help the squad for next season? What can be done?
Well, first of all,
be realistic, because the overhaul won't happen in a window.
If Sarri is to go, I wouldn't be mad. Like, let's not forget about that, because obviously Sarri just digging his own grave right now, which is just annoying me as well. But at the same time, I would be slightly annoyed because I just don't want player power to win. So let's say if Sarri is to leave, we need to bring in a manager that can just take time. Like, we need to just give them time, because it's not the situation at Chelsea. It's just, you're not going to solve it in just overnight. It's going to take years, and I think we need to be prepared to give a manager that long, regardless of if we get top 4, if we win trophies. I think we're just in that stage where we need to rebuild, because we lost like important players like John Terry, Lampard, Drogba, all these leaders, and we don't have any right now. So I think we need to slowly. Like, the reason I do want Sarri to go quite a lot is because of the youth. So that if we just slowly bring in the youth players with the new manager, and like, say for example give time to Ampadu, Christensen, because I think Ampadu is such a big leader that even on the pitch, like, if you see him, he's always telling players where to go, where to pass. So I think if we do sack Sarri, we need to bring in a manager who's going to be given time, and also give time to the youth as well to like reinvest. So if there's a couple names that have been thrown about is Lampard, for example. Like, but the thing is with Lampard, he's not got the experience for a job like Chelsea. Like, we need an experienced manager. And if we were to get Lampard in and he fails, then that could be his whole career, like managerial career, just damaged.
So Henry at Monaco.
Exactly, like Henry at Monaco, for example.
Yeah. So if you say, so imagine if Sarri finishes 6th, he doesn't get Europa League, he loses the final on Sunday, and he's obviously out of the FA Cup. You think he still deserves to have another window?
I need to like see a change in it. Like, well, it's not a simple yes or no answer. Like, if he changes the way the players that he plays, like, then, and he like brings in a plan B, then I want him to stay. But if he continues with just like not giving the youth any time, playing the same old pathetic team every single week, then I'm afraid to say, yeah, I wouldn't mind if Sarri leaves.
So Chris, is the Champions League crucial for Sarri, or can he finish 5th and get the FA Cup and still have a future at Chelsea Football Club?
Nah, Champions League's a must. We're not going to be able to attract any top draw players if we're in the Europa League. Let's be serious. Like, we could have had so many more top class players. We could be going in for Koulibaly, but he's not going to want to join a team in the Europa League, is he? When he's got every single big European club in the world after him. Like, Champions League is a must for us, and if it looks like we're not going to win Europa League, and if Sarri is still there, he needs to go. Like, he just needs to go in general. But
Richie, is Champions League a must for Sarri?
Yeah, not only on the pitch, but I think off the pitch. Like, there's so much uncertainty around Chelsea Football Club now. You never really hear from the owner. Like, he pulled out of the stadium expansion last year. Off the pitch, the business model at Chelsea is that we raise our revenue through player sales, and that probably would be for Hudson-Odoi in the summer, Hazard. So in terms of keeping we need the money on the pitch, so to reinvest in the squad, and off the pitch to continue to attract top players, because without the Europe Champions League, the revenue is so big, and to sort of shorten the deficit, we'd have to get rid of key players, which is only going to worsen our squad. And with our transfer model recently, it seems like we're buying quantity rather than quality. Like, if we had, between that season of 2013 and 2016, we had Kevin De Bruyne, Lukaku, Mata, Felipe Luiz. If we had kept them, they would have been a very, very good base to build off and propel us higher in the league and go on to win us trophies in the years to come. But we resorted to handing Conte about 250 million to buy his Zappacosta, his Drinkwater, his Morata. Not only him to blame, but you sort of get the idea that these are his targets. And as Chris alluded to earlier, there's no real scouting going on, and it's just a real shame. It's short-term goals rather than long-term.
Yeah, I think that's a big problem as well, like, with the board, because Drinkwater, how is Danny Drinkwater on 100k and he's just, all he does is just train and then he goes home and he just relaxes? How are you telling me he can earn £100,000 every single week?
Jhangir on Instagram, he uploads a picture of his salmon breakfast.
Exactly, yeah. I don't understand what's going on.
In addition to the recruitment, that window that Arsenal signed Aubameyang, when we loaned Batshuayi to Dortmund,
That was bad.
which Arsenal gave Giroud to us for them to get Aubameyang, when we needed a striker as much as they did, I was thinking, why are we not going in for Aubameyang, but we're settling for Giroud? That just sums up the mentality
I think
of our
that
club.
also revolves around Antonio Conte's targets because during that window, I don't know how true these, but we were in for Ashley Barnes, Andy Carroll, Giroud. So you sort of see the profile, and I think that comes from the manager. So it goes back to the point of short-term thinking rather than a long-term signing in Aubameyang.
So let me tell you this now. It's been a few months into Sarri's job. Can you confidently say that Sarri has done a better job than Conte has done last season? Would Conte be doing a better job with Chelsea squad he has currently?
Well, I don't think so, because if Conte was to have stayed, Hazard would have been gone, Willian would have been gone, all these top players would have been gone. That they've said it themselves. So I don't think he would have done much better, to be honest.
Do you agree?
I think with Antonio Conte, I know we're going back years, but he adapted. So when we lost 3-0 Arsenal, he changed the system. Whereas with Sarri, he doesn't want to change the system, and even so, he adapted to the quality of his players. Like the defenders are pretty much the same in terms of Azpilicueta, David Luiz. Okay, maybe Keogh was the only exception, but Conte adapted around them and built a system that sort of covered their flaws in terms of having a 5-man defence, Kante and Matic supporting. So like now, because we're playing so high up in terms of our defensive line and individuals are getting exposed, like the midfield yesterday, you saw for Pogba's goal, they were literally all on one side. Azpilicueta was so far behind that Rudiger had to go out and cover Pogba, who Rudiger then had to cover Luke Shaw's one for the overlap, and then the ball came in, and obviously Marcus Alonso was asleep at the back post and we conceded from it.
Let's just remember though that Sarri came in, he got the Chelsea job, which is supposed to be a big job, of finishing second with Napoli in the Serie A, and somehow that means you can get the Chelsea job just from that. And like, the guy's never won a trophy and we're expecting him to do well, motivate his players, but he's not a serial winner, so how are they going to look at him and think, yeah, I believe in him, when he hasn't got anything on his CV apart from a second place finish with Napoli?
He's probably got.
He wasn't saying this when we signed, when we got him.
No, it wasn't.
He was like, sorry. It's coming to Stamford Bridge, but now all of a sudden the fans just changed like that.
When you think about it, he hasn't won anything.
He hasn't, but he wasn't saying that at the beginning of
I
the
was
season.
thinking it. I wasn't saying it. I wanted to back the manager, but I can't back
fair
him.
enough. He hasn't won anything.
But I think all his flaws are coming out. Like even Aurelio, the Napoli president, he said that a big downfall of Sarri's season or system is that he didn't rotate the players, and we're seeing that now. Like last season, Napoli beat Juventus, I think, at home or away, and then they were literally closing on the title, and then due to a lack of rotation, Europa League, they didn't rotate, and then they bottled the title, you could say.
So that's the end of the episode, guys. A very heated episode, to say the least. Now make sure you like, subscribe, and come back for more content on the Football Hideout.